Code Red, I repeat, Code Red. We have Yuri. Confirmed Yuri. Episode 4 of Onimai was really good. I can't say it was an amazing episode like the last 3 episodes, but it was still good. Like, because an episode isn't amazing doesn't mean it's bad. Just definitely a more relaxed episode, I think, in the department of the relationship between Mahiro and Mihari, obviously, because it seemed like most of this focus of this episode is more focused on this new character, Momiji, which pretty solid introduction. And again, like I said before, it's kind of opening the door for Yuri implications, I guess. It really did seem like, at least from Mihari's perspective, we are starting to kind of consider, I mean, what is Mahiro's future? It seems like Mihari believes that her little experiment's not going to go away. Question mark. Like, this is Mahiro's future, is that he's always going to be a girl, and so one day he's got to meet a guy and get married. I think we've confirmed that she knows it's not going away. I think that's a little bit of a bad thing to suddenly admit. But no, a couple things established before we start. One, checked out the uncensored version. Doesn't like anything was really cut this episode. So another positive. We've got 2 episodes in a row of nothing cut, which is great. Keep that up. But let's be perfectly honest, there really wasn't anything here to really cut. I mean, even with the eroge manga, most covers aren't that bad. And the final scene with Momiji wasn't really showing much. But no, I am starting to get concerned that we're never going to get a couple of scenes that we've kind of skipped from the manga. I kind of assume they're kind of shifting things around, but I don't know, at this point it really feels like we've gone far enough that a lot of these chapters may not get covered. I mentioned before they have this MMO episode where Mahiro is talking in an MMO game and people freak out because it's a girl. There's the memory loss chapter where Mahiro bumps his head and forgets that he was even a boy to begin with, which I think would open a door to some really funny stuff. And then, yes, there's a segment where he really badly wants to get money for a gacha game, which honestly is a throwaway chapter, in my opinion. I think the MMO one and the memory loss one are like golden opportunities for some really funny comedy. But we'll see. We'll see if they still cover them. But now, open up the episode, we see that Mahiro has changed his taste. He really likes magical girls. And that seems to make Mihari believe that his taste is changing. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Guys like magical girls too. There's nothing wrong with guys liking magical girls. Though guys don't typically dance in front of a mirror like a magical girl. Some might. And I'm not judging anybody for posing in front of a mirror as a magical girl if you're a guy. But no, this kind of transitioned to the segment where Mihari has to go spend the night at her school for this project. And Mahiro finally gets the house all to himself. So he decides to change into just his t-shirt. He misses that. Sit around in very compromised poses because he's way too comfortable and unguarded. And then eventually realize that, and now this is kind of a mixed thing. One side, it really does seem like it's pushing more heavily on the idea that Mahiro has gotten so used to hanging out with his sister now and spending time with her and spending time with Kaede, being more social. He's starting to realize that all the things that he used to do is kind of boring. Playing games alone, reading manga alone, those things have become boring to him. I at first thought it was going to be another thing where it's pushing to the realm of taste changing because he's in a female body, but it really did seem like it steered very quickly to the idea that he just misses his sister. He misses hanging out with his sister, and that ultimately leads to him pretty much just going to bed and sobbing to himself because he misses his sister, which it was really cute. I won't say that somebody's going to fall apart just for missing somebody for just one night, but it was really cute in that regard. And the sister coming back and realizing he didn't dry his hair well enough, can't take care of yourself. Then we get the grocery segment, which, yeah, starts off with some over-the-top moaning and sweaty legs, and they're just playing a video game. Not that that Mihari is doing something inappropriate to Mahiro. No, they're just playing a video game, and it just got super intense, apparently, to the point where they're breathing really heavily next to each other. But no, this is like a pretty huge point, because Mihari obviously feels like her brother is starting to get out more, starting to socialize more, do more things around the house, but at the same time, kind of trust that he can pull this off, to go grocery shopping, which is unheard of for a NEET. But no, he fails miserably, because he just stays outside the entire time, terrified. And then, yes, we get the introduction of Emoji. And Emoji is, yes, a tomboy. Looks like a boy, and for some reason Mahiro believes that it's a boy, and Momiji kind of helps him out going shopping. And this is where things get kind of interesting in the idea that some passerbys go, oh, look at those two, they look so cute. Are they a couple? I really want to know if this is a thing in Japan. Like, there's so many anime where two characters that don't believe they're a couple are going somewhere, and then some random passerby goes, oh, what a cute couple. Does this happen in Japan, like, on a regular basis? Do people just randomly say, my gosh, couple, question mark? I'd never seen it in America, so I'm assuming it's not a thing in Japan too, but who knows? Maybe they really like the idea. Well, let's be honest, with the declining birth rates in Japan, maybe seeing couples is a big shock to Japanese people these days. I don't think so, but still, it's funny. But no, this is really funny because obviously before we had Mihari contemplating the idea of, oh, my brother's gonna grow up, get a husband, and get married, and yeah, it's not gonna happen. And that compounds here with Mahiro realizing, oh wait, I'm with a boy, and I'm a girl, and everybody thinks I'm a couple, and he gets super flustered about it, which he shouldn't. But again, that's that girliness in him just like infusing into him. So he can't help but feel like super flustered, the idea that, yeah, technically we look like a couple. And as he's actually shocked by this, believing this is a boy and that he's attracted to a boy and that he's partnered with a boy, suddenly, yes, Kaede shows up and says, oh, it's my little sister, and he goes, safe. And the follow-up scene was hilarious because he's talking about it to Mihari and says, oh, I thought that I was attracted to him, and then I realized it was actually a girl, so I'm perfectly safe now. And she's like, wait, so you were into little girls? He's like, no, that's not what I mean. But technically, yes, they're both the same age. It was just kind of one of those misunderstanding aspects that really kind of just keeps compounding on itself, but ultimately in the end sort of suggests this idea of, well, yes, technically I thought it was a boy and I was attracted, and so that makes me question that, but at the same time, now it opens the door to, oh, well, it's perfectly safe, it's a girl, because then Yuri, why not? Why not? The purest form of love. That all leads to, yes, Momiji showing up with Kaede at their house, and it seemed like Momiji wanted to come there just to see Mahiro, but at the same time doesn't want to admit it, so Kaede has to kind of push him. Can you hang out with Momiji while we do our studies? And yes, my man immediately went to, wait, Mahiro's not going to be okay with that. He has to rush up to his room, put everything away, and yes, pretty much put a tarp over like his entire shelf. When he was putting everything away, I was like, how is he going to cover up all of those figures? And sure enough, he just literally covers half the room with a big old tarp. And now here's where my theories start to come into play. Because Momiji comes into the room and starts going, oh, wow, it's much more boyish than I thought it would be. And you got video games, too. That's cool. Momiji seems pretty open to even what he wasn't able to cover up, and even acknowledging that it seems like a boy's room. And they have this cute little moment where they each say they're cute, and then eventually Momiji starts tickling Mahiro, and then, yes, the secret is revealed as all of his eroge manga just scatters everywhere. Now, here's where I start to get in my theories. I seriously think Momiji knows that's his stuff. Knows it's Mahiro's stuff, not the big brother. Because I don't know, just the way that she responded to it just didn't seem like she was, like, accepting what he said, but at the same time wasn't wanting to point it out. It just seemed like one of those, oh, well, no, it's my brother's stuff. I wanted to keep it around because I like to be reminded of him. And he's like, oh, okay, well, we need to put this stuff away. But I think the thing that kind of solidifies it is that the later scene when Momiji is walking with Kaede says, oh, what'd you guys do all this time? Momiji says, it's a secret. Why would she keep it a secret? Why wouldn't she say, well, we were in his brother's room and all of his dirty manga just got scattered, so we had to clean it up and all that goofy stuff. Momiji covering for Mahiro. I think Momiji knows. Now, the big question mark here is Momiji into it? That's again the door of Yuri there, because when Momiji first sees it, I don't know if it's because it's one of those question marks of how it's portrayed. Because when she first sees it, these hearts are coming away from it. Now, it could mean that the hearts are like indication this is like a love-making manga, or the fact that she was into it. I don't know, it's like a question mark of how that was portrayed. The scene can say two different things. But again, because the fact that she seems pretty okay with it, helps clean up the stuff, put away the dirtiest stuff, at least. I guess in the end, what I think of it is that Momoji's okay with the idea of Mahiro being into girls, and may even prefer that Mahiro is into girls. She's just embarrassed by the idea of Mahiro having the dirtiest stuff, like the perverted stuff about it. So that's where my mindset's going, is that Momoji likes this, and she's covering up for Mahiro. Of course, that goes back to the theory of when we first met Kaede. Does Kaede know? I mean, she never had a little sister. This has got to be her brother. She does these crazy experiments. Of course Mahiro is her bigger brother. But I got a huge kick out of the fact when they're putting all of them in the boxes. This is one of those moments where you know somebody knows they're talking about. Like, this mangaka knows what they're talking about, because Momoji's sitting here putting them inside this box and just randomly throwing them in there. And Mahiro's off the side and saying, can we at least sort them by genre? Like, it's totally me. That's totally me. It's like I have to have everything like sorted a certain way, and when I go to ship things or I'm moving or something like that, it has to be done perfectly. You can't just throw them in there. These are your precious items. Even though you've read them and they should probably be thrown away or sold, you keep them forever. Not that I have ero manga. But yes, to elevate things even more, Momiji goes to put away the box. Mahiro goes to help her. They fall. And Momiji falls right with both hands on both masses of objects, well, lack thereof, but they're super soft, apparently. And of course, Mihari and Kaede come running in, and it seems like they caught on very quickly. I kind of respect the fact that they didn't go full crazy with it, like, oh my gosh, what are you two doing? They picked on it very well, and Kaede's like, oh, you guys became good friends, and Mahiro's like, good, she caught on quickly. It was cute. Now, here's an interesting thing. So Kaede and Momiji leave, and like I said, it implies that Momiji knows because she said that she wants to keep it a secret for what they did. Mihari's like, yeah, she'll be a good friend for you, and Mahiro's like, me being a friend with somebody of that age would be a crime, and he's like, well, technically we're the same age, so I guess it's okay. And then he mentioned the fact that they were touched. Like he's lost his innocence or something. Like his sister has to put her hand on his shoulder. But in the after credit scene, now here's crazy theories. I don't think this is going to be true, but crazy theories here. Momiji is taking a bath. Goes over, sits down in front of the mirror, touches her chest, and says, still rock solid. It really kind of pointing out the fact that Mahiro's were nice and soft, but hers, just nothing but rock solid. Now, it could be the idea of it's just flat, but I think this scene was extra. In the manga, it's just the scene where Momiji is walking with Kaede, and she just says they were super soft. But in the anime, they're adding this additional scene where Momoji's testing her own. Crazy theory. Wonder if Momoji's always been a boy. It's just Kaede raised her as a little sister, and so she believes that she's a girl. I don't think it's gonna go that direction. I think it's probably Momiji is actually a girl, but that would be kind of a funny twist to this because obviously we have the pairing sisters right now with Mihari and Mahiro, Kaede and Momiji. But the secret is that Mahiro is actually a boy, and over here Momiji is actually a boy. Who knows? Would it be interesting little twist to the whole thing, but fantastic episode. Like, this is like one of the least episodes that I end up talking much about my theories about Momiji, but I hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, if you did, make sure to hit that like button down below. Comment, let me know what you thought of the episode. What do you think of my crazy theories? If you've read the manga, don't tell me. I'm only reading up to the manga where we've actually watched, so that's why I know about the segments they've skipped, because I'm reading to the point where we get to. So not that I think that this manga has some crazy twists in it, but who knows? It's fun to see this stuff as it happens. Anyhow, if you're new to the channel, make sure that subscribe button so you get all my content. I do news, reviews, first impressions, top list. If it's anime, it's pretty much here. Just if you want to support the channel more, we have a Patreon link, tips link, super thanks, and a membership button down below. Greatly appreciate it, but it supports the channel, and you'll take care.